Okay, people, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. Let's wait a little bit and see who turns up and who appears. But whilst we're waiting, maybe use the comments and let me know where you're viewing from. Say hello. And let me know if you're one of our clients or if you're somebody that's just interested in our service. And it'll be nice to see who we have with us. Some very shy people at the moment. Before I get going, like I said, I'm just going to give it a few minutes to for other people to join. We did have quite a few registrations for this, and you know, some people are always a little bit late. Hello from Cape Verde, beautiful islands. I was there, I think, 4 years ago, and very much hoping to return in the near future when COVID allows me to. Which island are you on, Ulysses? I visited Sal, which has the really nice beaches, but I know there are dozens of islands around there, so I'm just curious as to which one you're on. And Belgium, hello. Arnaud, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thank you for joining us. I hope that things are going well there and COVID isn't hitting too bad. Santiago. So a different island to where I was on, but I'm sure very nice nonetheless. Well, we're getting around the world this morning. Mauritius. Hello, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. So we've got Cape Verde, we've got Belgium, we've got Mauritius. Where else are we going to go today? Yeah, I guess I'd like to go to Mauritius as well. I've been to Belgium, but Mauritius and Cape Verde sound warmer, so they seem like good prospects. So I recognize some of the names that we have here. I recognize some of our existing clients on the call. So for you guys, some of what we go through, you'll probably already know. But if you have any questions of things in particular that you've been curious about, drop them in the comments and I will do my best to get those into the presentation today. But keep in mind that I am going to try accommodate everyone. I'm going to start from the beginning with Social WiFi and build up people's knowledge from there. So I think we can get started. People have had a while to join. So the way I always like to start these webinars is just, well, start most conversations really is start with the why Social WiFi do what we do and why that's important for businesses. So we have an approach of asking our clients a few questions to make them realize that there's actually a need for a Wi-Fi marketing system. And these are the questions that we like to ask. So if you imagine Social WiFi is designed for brick and mortar businesses, restaurants, coffee shops, hotels, shopping malls. And if we ask a business owner, do you know who your customers are? Generally, the answer is quite vague and it leads towards a no. If we put that in perspective of an e-commerce company such as Amazon, they know who all of their customers are. They're tracking all of their habits. They know how happy they are. They know so much about every single one of their customers. They have the ability to make you buy from them more and more often. And they're now the biggest company in the world. But it's not just Amazon. There's a lot of, any business that operates online knows a lot about its customers, and they use that data to encourage them to buy once again. So we are giving our customers the data of their customers so that they can, first of all, turn them into repeat spenders, and they can use those people's referrals to get new people into their business as well. If somebody comes into your business and then leaves, you don't necessarily know who that person is. And if you don't know who that person is, you have no way to influence them coming back to you in the future. So first of all, we're finding out who their customers are. We have some tools that we'll come onto that will tell you how happy they are. We do that in the form of review gathering and feedback management. And that leads to point 4. If those people are happy, how can we get those people to bring you new customers in the terms of referrals? But we're going to look in detail at things like TripAdvisor reviews, which are crucial for people in the hospitality industry. And point 3 is about influencing customers to come back and spend more money with you. Once someone has left, if you know who that person is, you could do direct marketing. You could set up some advertising campaigns on Facebook or Google targeting those people to influence them to come back more often. And we've got some really nice email automation tools there so that you are targeting the right people at the right time. We're not just talking about mass mailing here. We're talking about something a bit more precise than that. And like I say, the absolute goal here is to turn your existing customers into repeat customers, get them spending more money with you, but also to use those customers to attract new people to your business. Answering those questions at the beginning, they are very difficult. Oh, and the lights have gone off. I'm not moving around enough. Just give me a second. I'm in a room with motion detected lights. So that's going to happen a few times, I think. It's very hard for businesses to answer those questions without the aid of technology. A hotel or a restaurant is not going to ask every single one of its customers questions such as these. Who are you? Are you happy? Will you come back? Will you recommend us to a friend? It's just not scalable. So technology can help you with that. And that's exactly what Social WiFi is aiming to do. We're going to focus quite a bit on online reviews, because online reviews is a really good way to get new people in. I found some statistics recently when preparing for a talk that I was doing. Well, I found that 25% of people trust online adverts, but 70% of people trust online reviews. And it got me thinking, how many businesses have marketing departments, have budgets and strategies for online advertising? But how many businesses have the same strategies and resources for managing their online reviews and reputation? What I found was quite surprising, and it's something that we're really big on here, and we're going to look at some tools there that is going to help you. So next up, I'm going to dive into the Social WiFi dashboard and show you around some things. But whilst I change my screen setup, would anybody like to ask any questions at this point? Or if anybody new has joined, let us know where you are joining from. And I'll just change that banner there. And hopefully you can all now see my my screen with the dashboard of Social WiFi and lots of inactive venues. I use this as a demo screen for people to see. So let me, we've got no comments coming through at the moment. So I apologize for me keep rubbing my nose. I suffer from hay fever and it's quite strong at the moment. I just need to find a file. Okay. All right, let's crack on. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to quickly start from the beginning and just go through the adding of new venues. I see some people here that are quite new to the system, and I think they're bringing on some new businesses with us. So I'm just going to quickly show you how you can really quickly create each venue. I'll come back to this screen in a moment, but adding a venue is super quick. I'm going to rush through it very quickly. We have 4 steps here. You find your business on the Google search tool. You give your business a name. I'm going to call it Social Wi-Fi Hotel. We select if we want to have GDPR enabled or not. I'm going to turn it on for this case. And then we get onto the branding wizard. And this is a super quick process. I'm going to show you how quickly we can put some really nice artwork in here. Let's add a logo. And then we've got some artwork on their logo and a background very quickly done. We can add an overlay to this background image so we can make things stand out a little bit better if we want, with transparency. So that's something that I quite like to do. And then we can change the text color, we can change the links color, the buttons color, and so on. What we find the best thing to do with the button color is go to a website that will tell you the exact color from an image. And if I just find that logo I've uploaded, this is really useful if you don't have your you don't have your company color palette available to you. I can use this. I can hover over part of the logo, get the hex code. And what I'm about to do here is I can go into the buttons color. I can paste in that hex code. And now that's looking a lot nicer, especially if I change that font to black. Then I can change the link color as well to the same. And, we have a preview here of a Wi-Fi login page done in a few seconds that I believe is really going to elevate the login pages that you have right now on your Wi-Fi system. And if we go a step further, we can set up some template branding for the emails that get sent out. And as you can see, it's copied everything forward from the previous page. But we do have a problem on this page because the background of emails is defaulted to white. And we have a white logo on there as well. So what I can do is I can actually upload a new logo that solves that problem. So it has copied everything through, but you can make some bespoke changes along the way as well on each step if needed. But again, I think this page is looking pretty nice, and I can move on to the next step. And on this page, we are copying and pasting in the URLs of the review sites that you will want positive reviews to go to. And we're going to touch on this in more detail a little bit later on in the webinar. You can see it's pulled through Google already because we used the Google search tool at the beginning. But if you've got a TripAdvisor page or a Facebook page that you also want people to go to if they have positive feedback for you, you just paste in the URLs in here, and people will start getting presented with that. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just find Wi-Fi's Facebook page. Can I find that? I think I can. Hopefully this will work. I'm in incognito mode, so there we go. So it's, you're getting a preview now that we've added a new review link in there. But we're going to touch on reviews in a bit more detail a bit later on. And I hit create, and we've created a venue in the Social Wi-Fi system. And what's really nice is if you then want to add more venues, you can copy everything over that we've just done in just 1 or 2 clicks. So it's super quick to scale this if you are the operator of multiple venues, which I know some of you are on this call. So you're going to get presented with this page when you first gone through that process. You're also going to see this page the first time, not the first time, every time you log into the dashboard. And you can see here we have a message to configure your access points. Hello again from Mauritius. I don't know if this is two businesses from Mauritius or people are the same, but it's nice to have you with us. And we're getting a warning here to configure the Wi-Fi access points. So just quickly touching on that, obviously you need to connect the social Wi-Fi service to your existing Wi-Fi infrastructure. And we can integrate with a number of different hardware vendors, and they are listed here. We don't support every device from these, but generally if you have equipment from these vendors, you're going to be good. If you haven't, that can be resolved by the installation of a MikroTik router, the name in the top left-hand corner. And they provide routers. We'd configure that router with a social Wi-Fi configuration, and you would connect that to your existing Wi-Fi router. So nothing would be replaced. It's just a little bit of cost up front, maybe around €50, $50, £50. It's probably all about the same. And that's the way around it if you don't have anything from any of these brands right now. If anybody wants us to talk about the technicalities in a bit more detail towards the back end of this webinar, we can. But for now, I'm just going to skip over that because this kind of stuff isn't the sexy stuff that you're buying social Wi-Fi for. So let's just quickly go back into the login pages that we created on the Wizard earlier. And we can make some further adjustments now, because what we created was a template of color schemes and images, but now we can go into each page individually and fine tune that. So it's a drag and drop creator. You can see I've got grid lines on here to give us some guidance, but if I remove them, you can get previews of how things are going to look on different device types. But if I put them back on, we'll see that I can start building up more things here as well. So let's imagine I just want to put a YouTube video on this page as well. I can do that. What we are doing is we're going to be dragging things from the right-hand side of the page and dropping it into the middle. So you can see that I dragged the YouTube widget into the middle. Now, if I select anything on the center of the page, we get options on the right-hand side pertaining to that element. So I've just clicked on this YouTube widget here, and I now get settings on the right-hand side. So I can change the URL. I can change the width of this if I want. So I have it on 50% on auto at the moment. If I change that to 50%, it makes it smaller. I can select autoplay for devices that will allow that, and so on. If I select any of these text aspects, if I double, triple click on it, something like that, I can make text changes. What I can also do on the right-hand side, I can change the font. I could change the font size. I can add shadows. I could change the color. So we have some various options here on what we can do. Let me just remove those changes. And if we click on any of the login options here, so by default, we will put all of the login options on there. We have Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and just an email form. Common question, do we offer Instagram login? We do not, but there is a good reason. Instagram will not give us any data about the person logging in. They won't give us the email address, the name, anything at all. So without the email address or the contact details, the rest of our service is it's not gonna do much for you. So that's why we don't offer Instagram login. If I select any of these, you'll see on the right hand side I have some more options here, and I could turn on and off these login options based on what I want. So if I don't want the LinkedIn login option, I can just tick that and it is removed. What on the right hand side here, you see we have our email form. If I click on the form preview button here, we can see what that will look like when people click it. We're going to be asking people to input their email address. But you can also turn on some additional fields. So if you want to be collecting their first name, surname, date of birth, and gender, you can turn those on and off. And, again, we've got some more options down here on the typography and how that's going to look. So we'll just turn off that preview. One of the nice things that I like to do actually on this is use the border radius on the bottom right hand side there and make that number bigger. And it turns these buttons into more circular things. The radius adds curves onto the edges. And I like to change that to 30 and make them more rounded. For me, I think it's more aesthetically pleasing. But if you want to go the other way and turn it into a complete square, if you put 0, it turns it into a very sharp edge square. And probably if we go in the middle, 15, we get like a half and half. So you can play around with those numbers as you want to make things look how you like. And I'm just going to switch these lights back on once again. Because I didn't plan this very well, and I picked and I picked the wrong option. Picked the wrong room option, I should say. So Ulysses here has some users that log in from Facebook may not have their email also. That is correct. It's very rare that this happens. What is happening? So if you ever look in your user database and you see that somebody has logged in with Facebook, but there's no email address there, what that means is they signed up for Facebook with their phone number. I don't know if that's something you can still do, but historically, I know Facebook allowed that. And in those cases, those people have just not input their Facebook, just haven't input their email address into Facebook, and therefore Facebook cannot provide us with that. It's very rare though, and I mean very rare, but it does happen from time to time. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Like Ulysses has just done, if anybody else has any questions as we're going through this, feel free to write them in the comments and I will try and pick them up and answer them as we go. Ulysses, just let me know in the comments if that answer has helped you. But that's the login page, and we have some other pages as well in the login process. I'll just quickly take you through those, just not in as much depth as I did. So we then have the next step is the page where you are opting in or opting out to marketing. This is GDPR. And by default, we have this slider. You swipe right to opt in, you swipe left to opt out. If I click on that, again, we get options on the right-hand side. You can change this to a button, but statistically, our research has shown that you will get more opt-ins with the slider. We're not sure why. Maybe something to do with Tinder style UX, but it's up to you. If you want a button, you can. You can also change this wording here if you want to add things, remove things. So it's completely flexible. These pages you can edit as much as you would like. So I can go as far as if I select any of these elements, you can see I get some options here, and I've got a bin. I can just delete things and start building up from scratch once again. So if I want to add a new image on this page, I can. Looks terrible, but just to give you an idea, I can upload some new artwork. I can drag and drop files in, but let's just put that logo back. But just to give you an idea. And then finally, the last step on the login process is the welcome page. Now, this is the page that people will get to after the login process. They have internet access. And also your returning customers will get to this page without having to go through the login page. So we have a function called auto login. So if you are a bar or a cafe or restaurant and people come regularly, they're not going to have to log in every single time that they visit you. And if you're a chain, if you have multiple outlets, people will be remembered from one venue to the next. So it's like a seamless login as people roam between each of your business venues. And on this page, we can actually do a few more things because they have internet access at this point. So if you want to put some advertising or call to action you can do. So if we want to add in a couple of images that are going to redirect to web pages, I could drag across this to cells section. You might just be able to see I can put side-by-side elements now. So if I go to URL redirect image, I could upload some new artwork, or I could just select something from the repository. Just imagine that was an advert for something. If I click on that, you'll see we have a redirect URL here on the right-hand side. And if I just click outside of that area as well, we can also create preferences on who will see this. So we can select men. So let's say we only want this to be shown to men that are adults on weekends. We could do some targeting on who sees these elements, what times of the day, perhaps on a visit as well. So on the fifth visit, we want to put some sort of loyalty message on there. We can do. There's a lot of functionality that you can do on the welcome page, and I'm not going to go into it because we could be here for the remainder. We're going to be here for the remainder of the webinar, so I'm going to move on from that. But reach out to us if you want to learn more about this function. Another question here. If I had an advertisement on the page, can I know who saw it? No, we're not tracking clicks or anything on this page. We're just allowing you to present your advertising and giving you the ability to redirect people to landing pages or, any other web page from that. So we're just giving you the functionality for that. We're not tracking clicks and we're not tracking who is seeing each of those. I'm just going to stay a little bit hydrated here. My voice is starting to go. There is one other part where you can put advertising, which, looking at some of the comments, does seem pertinent. Is the pre-login page. This is a page before people get to the page, with the Facebook login option and so on. It's an optional part of the process. But you might want to put a YouTube widget in here, for example. So you might want to put a video. It defaults to the social Wi-Fi video, but you put in the URL of your video. But what you can also do, if we click this skip button at the top here, right hand side, we have a delay option. So maybe you want to put a 10-second delay on here, and people have to view the content of this page for at least 10 seconds before they can hit that skip button. So once again, a nice way to present your users with some advertising that you want them to see. This is obviously before the login page, so they don't have internet access at this point. So therefore, we cannot redirect people to other parts of the internet. But if you just want them to see something, this is great. For those of you with hotels, just going back to the welcome page where I spoke about you can put advertising and redirect them. We can also put a feedback widget as well. So people can just give you feedback. Very nice in the hotel sector, because people are going to see this regularly. If they're staying with you for a week, they're going to see this, I think once a day. So if they do have any comments throughout their stay, they can type some feedback in here, hit submit, and that's going to go into your inbox. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail quite soon. I'm just going to leave that on there, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to generate a demo of the login process and just take you through that. So you can do this from the dashboard. On the home page, you can see there's this test login process button, and that's going to open up a new tab, and it's going to show you what the login process looks like on this device. You can even copy the URL and use it on your mobile, for example. So this is what the login system looks like. Facebook login isn't available on MacBook, so that's why that is grayed out. But if I choose Twitter here, and if I just log in with my Twitter account, see, I go through the Twitter API, I opt in to marketing, and now I've got internet access. And I'm going to leave some feedback here because I want to demonstrate this feedback section a little bit later on. So let's just put great hotel, but you need more staff there. Let's just put that in there. And that's the login process. Very, very quick, very easy, but also very nicely branded. You'll notice on here that there are no references to Social Wi-Fi. It's purely your business, which is hopefully going to make your customers more comfortable leaving their data, because they're going to feel like it's going to your business and it's not some tech company, above you that's going to take their data and use it for whatever reason. So let's have a look at the review system. I've mentioned that a few times now, so I feel that's a good place to go. Everybody that has used your Wi-Fi network, we're going to deliver them an email. Let me just sort the lights out again. We're going to deliver them an email after their visit. You can determine the timing of this email delivery, by the way, but it's going to look something like this. And I can adjust this page. So let's just make some adjustments. Let's add some padding here between the logo and the text. I feel this gap before the faces is a bit small, sorry. And if I select these faces on the right-hand side, I get some options for different types of review things. So, we've got stars, we've got some cats, we got Twitter emojis. I like the stars, and you can change the subject line of the email as well. And the email is going to come through to them with your business name on it. It's not going to say Social Wi-Fi or anything like this. I can change all this text if I want. Social Wi-Fi Hotel has been pulled through from what we did earlier when we named the business at the beginning. But people are, it's a very simple email. Did you enjoy your visit at the business? Just click one of the stars saying how happy you are. Now, what happens next depends on the review that they give you. So if we go into the settings tab quickly, we give you the ability to determine what you consider to be a positive review. And so let's say you say, look, 4 stars and 5 stars are good reviews for us. I'm happy for those to go on the internet. That's going to determine the landing page that we take people to after they've left you a review. Whilst I'm here, we can adjust when people get this email delivered, and you can also adjust the review sites that we'll go to, but I'll come back to these. So if they leave you a positive review, we'll take them to a landing page that looks a bit like this. And again, we can edit this up. We can add the logo back in here. We can change the padding, but there's a simple call to action here. Thank you for your positive feedback. We'd appreciate it if you shared your review online. And earlier, I input the Google and Facebook URLs for Social Wi-Fi. So the user can look at these options and go, hey, I've got the Facebook app on my phone. I'm happy to leave the review there. And if somebody clicks these links, we are not just taking them to the pages. We are also taking to the page, but with the review box open. So within 2 clicks of receiving the email, they can be on one of the review sites, leaving you some positive feedback. So it's a very efficient way of getting a happy customer to leave you positive comments on the internet. And the positive comments are valuable on the internet because that's going to be seen by thousands of people when they're deciding whether they come and visit your restaurant, your hotel, versus all of the other ones in your area. Now, if they leave negative feedback, let me just save that. If they leave negative feedback, we'll take them to a different landing page. And again, we can style this out as before, but we're not giving them those redirection links. We're leaving them with the feedback box, which I showed you earlier. And it gives them an opportunity to write to you why they're not happy. And when they hit send feedback, you're going to get an email from our system saying that you have new feedback. You need to go into the Social WiFi dashboard and check out that feedback and reply to that user. If I refresh this page, so that's saved? Yes, it has. So if I refresh this page, you'll remember earlier that I left some feedback on the welcome page. You see here on the inbox, we have one message. And we have an inbox where you can see all of your messages, what's read, what's unread. You can also click in here and see the message from your guests. You get the name, the email address, and the comments here. What you can do is you can send a reply to that person directly from the Social WiFi dashboard. If you hit send on that customer is going to get an email back with replying to their initial feedback, and they can reply back to that, and you can keep going backwards and forwards. But the point is, we're giving you the opportunity to find out about your unhappy customers and do something about it, which is, it's really valuable. I think I saw a statistic, 91% of people that have a bad experience with a business will try that business again if they resolve their complaint efficiently. So you've got everything to gain by using our review system, because you're going to pick up those unhappy customers and give them a chance to communicate with you, and you get a chance to put things right. As always, I keep saying, if anybody does have any questions about this as we go, just type them in the comments and I'll try and pick them up. We have a question about the from field in the email. So the email will show us coming from the name of the venue. So in this case, Social WiFi Hotel. But if you configure your own SMTP emailing server, all of the emails will come from your own email system, not from Social WiFi's emailing system. So if you have an SMTP server, you can configure that to our system, and everything will go out with your name and your brand. But if you don't, we'll just, when it lands in someone's inbox, it will have the name of the sender as, in this case, Social WiFi Hotel. And the subject lines can be adjusted in the system here as well, down at the bottom. So the subject line is, "Did you enjoy your visit?" But you can adjust that if you want. The system's also multilingual. So everything here you've seen is in English. But if you want to add let's say a Spanish language pack, where's Spanish? There it is. We just go down to the bottom, and it's going to recreate all of the pages. It recreates all the pages, and if we have translations for the words there, then we will. But if not, let's say we pick a language that isn't like Albanian, it's going to recreate everything again in English, and you just need to go in and update the text. And that's the same on all of the pages that we have in the system. So you can do that on login pages. You can do that on all of the emails. So it's not just English. You can add as many language versions as you want. And what will happen, Social WiFi will detect the language of somebody's browser, and we will present them the language that is relevant to that person. And if you don't have a language pack set up for that person, let's say somebody comes in and their device is set for Afrikaans, then we'll just default it back to English. We'll make an assumption that if anyone's got a second language, we'll assume it's going to be English rather than something else. So nice, especially for those of you, for example, in Mauritius, Cape Verde, where you probably have a lot of tourism. So I presume that's going to be very helpful for you. I mentioned earlier that you can determine when the review emails get sent, because what you don't want to do is send the review email like 3 hours after somebody's checked into a hotel. Hey, how was your visit? Well, I've only just got here. What am I supposed to review? So you can deliver that email based on, so if you're a hotel, you probably want to send out like one and a bit days after their last interaction on the Wi-Fi network. Give them some time to leave, get home, relax a bit, and then ask them. If you're a restaurant though, maybe you want to set that as like 4 hours after login. 4 hours is a good time for someone to have some drinks and a meal and to leave and perhaps get back home. That there is a good time to deliver that email. You can also send a reminder. So if people don't respond to the email and click one of the stars within 72 hours, it will automatically get redelivered once again. And we can redirect people to TripAdvisor, Yelp, Zomato, Facebook, Trustpilot, Google Reviews, and Holiday Check. We can't refer people to every review site on the internet, because some of those sites require you to have booked through their website in order to leave a review. So, for example, on Booking.com, you can only leave a review with Booking.com if you've booked your stay through their website. Let's have a look here. So we have a question. Can you add additional questions if the customer rating is less than 3? For example, like ask which aspect of their visit needs improvement. So we don't offer like additional questionnaire questions. In this case, you're referring to people that have just left a negative review. So what you can do is on the negative rating landing page, we leave this quite open. We don't want to preempt, like, how was housekeeping, how was the reception desk. One feedback box and an open question. Let us know how we can get better and improve. But if you want to make that question more specific, you can change all of this wording here. No problem at all. But what we are avoiding is asking people to answer multiple questions. The email just has a very simple question, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 5? And then if it's negative, we're just leaving an open question for them to talk about what they want. And then we give you the ability to reply to that person and maybe gather more details or just apologize and try to put things right. So the only additional question that you can ask is this one that you see right there. But one other thing that you can do, we have our email automations. And if you remember at the beginning, you are very welcome. Hopefully that maybe wasn't the answer you were hoping for, but hopefully it was a clear answer for you. You may remember at the beginning of the webinar, I spoke about sending emails to the right person at the right time rather than just mass mailing. This is the email automations section of the dashboard. I'm going to start with a very simple one, but I'm going to come back to one that is connected to the review system. First visit email. If our system detects that it's somebody's first visit to your business, we can deliver them an email on a time delay of your choosing. So let's say 15 minutes after their first visit, we'll let you create an email and we will deliver that email to that customer. And we have a number of different automations, and I'll come back to these and talk about how they can be used a little bit later on. But first of all, let's just have a look at creating an email in our system to begin with. So the first visit email is very popular with hotels and restaurants. Hotels like to welcome their guests, show them their upselling opportunities, excursions, spa facilities, those kind of things. Restaurants really like to use this in order to let people know about any loyalty membership programs that they have, any events that they have coming up, any promotions like 2-for-1 Mondays, those kind of things. So it's a use case for many people. But you can use our editor to create some email content. So it's the same drag and drop creator from the Wi-Fi splash pages. So the logo and the background has been preloaded from earlier, but we can update those if we want. I can add in a text box right here. So dear guest, thank you for staying in our. You get the idea. And you can add more things. So let's just put a couple of cells in here. I can add, once again, I could add images. Let's just put this background image in once again. If I select that image, I get more options on the right-hand side. I can hyperlink that to a landing page with more information. Like I said earlier, I can do things. I can do border radius. If we don't want to do, excuse me. If we don't want to do an image redirection, you just want to put a button. We have this link option here, and it uploads a button, and we can use the settings. We can use the settings on the right-hand side to make that look how we want. And I'm probably going to make something look really horrible right now, but just to illustrate the point that you can also add buttons, perhaps beneath the text, for example, and have a play with it. Drag and drop creators are notoriously frustrating and difficult to use the first time you come across them. So have some patience with it, experiment with it, try find a way that works for you to create the styles that you want. But once again, you can add multiple languages. So we'll deliver to people based on the language that they should be receiving. You can adjust the email subject, and you can preview how things will look on different device types. You can also add attachments. So if you have a PDF that you want to attach, that's very popular in places like holiday lets, Airbnb type things, attach the house rules. Hotels like to attach things like meal times, checkout times, those kind of things. So feel free to upload attachments and send them on the emails. But yeah, you create the rule for the triggering of the email. You create the content of the email, and if we hit save on that, you change the status to active, and those emails are going to get sent to everybody that uses the Wi-Fi network, and that criteria is met. So in this case, everyone that logs into the Wi-Fi and it's their first visit, 15 minutes later, we'll deliver them an email. And when I say everyone, of course, they have to have opted in to marketing communication, but hopefully you get what I mean. But we have more options here. So I'll just start from the top and go down these and give you a few examples of how each one is used. If you've got any types of any ideas you want to run by me, drop them in the comments. I'll try and give you some ideas on the kind of settings you'd need for that. But let me just go through the top. Loyalty email. So this is an email that will send on a specific visit number. So if you want this to be on the 5th visit, and on a 10-minute time delay, if we detect that it's that person's 5th visit to you, we'll deliver that email. So maybe you want to put in some sort of reward, just maybe some sort of thank you message. And you can also set that up to go on every nth visit. So let's say n equals 10, we'll deliver the same email on the 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th visit, and so on and so forth. Very popular bars, restaurants, those kind of places. And a lot of customers don't even offer some sort of rewards. They just like to say thank you and try build that, deepen that relationship with their customer. Not seen in. So this is highly popular with the restaurant sector. So for those of you on here that operate restaurants, this is one that I would highly recommend that you set up. So if somebody logs into your Wi-Fi network and we detect that they have not returned within X amount of days, so let's put this at 30 days, that's potentially a lost customer. It's somebody that visited your business, somebody that left and has not come back for 30 days. We'll deliver them an email. Give yourself a chance to get that person to come back, get inside their mind, make sure they are thinking about you the next time that they decide to go out and eat some food. Or, you could change this to 300. Maybe you're a hotel and you want to, automatically deliver messages encouraging people to book again for next season. There are different ways you can use it, but this is fantastic for winning back lost customers or potentially lost customers. Maybe 30 days is too short. Just set the time delay that you want. We'll automatically deliver these. If you've set this to 30 days and somebody logs in again on day 28, we'll start the 30-day counter once again. So it's just a continuing function that's always going to be working away for you in the background. So if any of you are on this call and you are responsible for marketing and the email marketing, this is going to be a huge time saver for you. Hopefully you'll get a few more hours back in your days. Login email works exactly the same as the first visit email, but we'll send it based on not just the first login. However, we will only send an email to them once a month, because if you are a coffee shop and your customers pop in every morning for a latte before work, you don't want them getting the same email every single day. It's going to be spammy. They're not going to like it. So we can send the same email more than once, but no more than 30 once every 30 days. Goodbye emails. So I'm going to put this comment back on here from Elvina. Apologize if I've pronounced that wrong. This is so we automatically send the review email, but hotels often like to follow up with their own questionnaires, such as going into more depth. How was housekeeping? How was your service? What did you think of the food menu? If you have your own survey that you've created, perhaps on Typeform or Google Forms, you could create an email that asks people to follow the link to your questionnaire and answer those questions. So it would be, it'd be completely separate to our review system, but this is a nice way to deliver questionnaires asking for more detailed feedback if you have a questionnaire, for example. So let's just take that one back off. Post rating email. So this is something I was mentioning earlier, actually. So if somebody does leave you a review, and you can set up an automation to send them an email based on, was it a positive review? Was it a negative review? And you can set a time delay on that. So let's pretend I want to send everybody that has left a negative review an automated email 10 minutes after they have sent that message to us. Create your content in the editor before, make it sound sincere and genuine, make it look like you've written it yourself. Dear guest, apologize that you've had a bad experience. Give them your contact details so that they can get in touch and talk about it more if they want. But yes, this is a really good way to follow up on those reviews if you don't have the time to reply to everyone in the inbox individually. But you might also want to set one up for positive rating. Just send an automation saying, "Great to hear that you had you had a good experience with us. We hope to see you again." I don't know, just some sort of message that is going to make people feel a bit more valued as a customer. And once again, you set these automations up, the emails are just going to keep on sending. And then finally, we have birthday emails. You just set the number of days before their birthday. So maybe 2 weeks before, you want to send them you want to send people an email. Book your holiday, your birthday getaway with us. Book a table for your birthday meal. Those kind of ideas are always really good. And if you want to send a happy birthday, you just set that to 0 days. And if we have a birthday captured in our system, we'll deliver those for you. Not every line of data in our system is going to have a date of birth, because if someone logs in with Twitter or Google, they may not have that information uploaded. I'll just quickly show you the user data tab, because I logged in earlier. You can see what we've got here. So I logged in with Twitter. We've got my name, we've got my email address, my gender, but no birthday. I haven't uploaded my birthday to my Twitter account. And you can see the number of visits that I've made as well. And if you export this, so you can download the data in Excel at any time. We've got the date of the first visit, we've got the date of the last visit, and a few more things. Now, if you want to get this data out of Social Wi-Fi system and into other systems automatically, we have a few options. We have a Zapier application. So if I just find our app on Zapier, you can just connect your dashboard to thousands of other apps that Zapier is connected with. So let's imagine you're using, I don't know, Zendesk or something. You select Zendesk. You can connect the two systems without doing any coding. If you are into coding and you know how to do this kind of thing, we have an open API. You can follow our documentation, and you can create your own tools and your own systems by following this kind of information. And if you want to use that, just get in touch with us. We need to enable some things in your dashboard. But yeah, there are ways to get the data automatically out of the Social Wi-Fi dashboard. You've got an option by coding it yourself. You've got an option without coding it. But you can also just download data in Excel. And when you've got it in that form, you can upload it to anything. I think, well, pretty much anything that accepts an Excel upload. So all that data that we've gathered is there for you to use within our system, and you can also use it outside of our system as well. Anybody for any questions? I'm talking a lot here, which I'm conscious of, but if anybody does have any questions at this point, it's I'm coming towards the end of things, so feel free to add any comments or questions right now. For those of you that are into marketing, we can embed your Facebook pixel on the login pages, the landing pages for reviews. You just paste in the pixel code or the Google code. And one way, I'll just give you an example of one way that this is used very popularly is with Facebook Pixel. We will create an event in your Facebook Ad Manager account, and you can use that event to target people. So you could target known customers. You could exclude known customers from other marketing sets. But what is becoming more popular is take that audience and ask Facebook to create a lookalike audience of people with the similar characteristics to your existing customers and run adverts just for them. How can, hey, Facebook, these are the demographics of my existing customers. Go find me more people in this area that have the same characteristics, and assume that, if they have the same characteristics, they're going to be into similar things. They will hopefully like your business just as much as your existing customers. So that's a really nice tool there with Facebook Pixel. And I am getting to right towards the end now. Could you show us how to duplicate a venue? I can do that. If I can remember exactly how to do that is. So let's create another venue very quickly. But this time, I'm going to skip all of, you know what, I'm going to call this one Social Wi-Fi Hostel. I'm going to skip all of the branding pages. So I'm going to skip that one. You'll remember right at the very beginning, I added lots of different things here. So if I go into the login page, you don't want that on your login page. Okay. What we can do is we can go into this. We can go into the venue that we want to copy the settings from. So let's go back into Social Wi-Fi Hotel. We'll go to the settings tab on the left. And partway down, we have this venue content styles. Now, my understanding is, and I don't use this often, let me just go back here just to highlight this. So we go into venue content styles. We have this copy button here, and we see all of the venues within the project. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is what are projects. So if you don't know what that means, don't worry just yet. I find the venue that I want to copy to, Social Wi-Fi Hostel, and I click add. I could do more than one if I want. I could do all of them in one click. But select the venues that you want to change. Click execute. And it says that it's copied everything to this venue now. So if I go back into Social Wi-Fi Hostel, what I'm hoping is, there we go. It's copied the login page is over. Let's just quickly click through and make sure everything is looking good. The review system, let's have a look here. Yeah, so it's copied all of the branding over. The way that I've shown you just now will only work if you've used that wizard at the beginning of creating that venue. So if you skip that and you didn't use the wizard, it won't copy everything over. You would need to do every page one by one, which can be done by going into the Splash Pages tab. And on a lot of the pages, you'll see a button here. If you hover over it, it will say copy to other venues. And you can copy each page one by one. I was doing this yesterday with another client, and we copied all of their login pages and their review system over, and it took us about 90 seconds. So as we say in England, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but the fastest way is the one that I showed you in the settings tab. Hopefully that answers your question. Arnaud, just write again. Let me know if it hasn't. But finally, I'm just going to tell you about projects and venues because good to hear. Thank you. Here we have what we call two projects. Great coffee chain and luxury hotel group. And in each of these projects, we have individual venues. So project is an umbrella for all of the businesses under a brand, for example. So here we have a hotel group, and they've got 6 hotels around the world. You can manage all of as I've just shown you, you can manage all of those venues in one place. You can copy things between them. You can also give people permission to the entire project so they can have access to every venue within that project. But you can also give people permission to only access one of these venues, for example. So if we were going into the Marina Santorini, we go to the permissions tab. We can add staff that only have access to the marina, and we can also give them different levels of permission as well. So if you are managing a group of businesses, you have the ability to manage everything from one place, but you can also go in on an individual venue level and make smaller adjustments to each one if you would like to do. So this is scalable for enterprise brands. I think our biggest client has like over 300 individual venues within the dashboard. So updating 300 login pages is not ideal. So they can do that in one go from a project level, and that speeds things up quite nicely for them. So I hope I've been informative to you all. I don't think I really have anything more to go through and show you without going into boring administrative things. So in that case, if I will stick around for a little bit, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to add them into the comments, and I will answer them. But otherwise, I hope that's been helpful for you. And if it has been helpful and you want to drop off now, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here and listening to my voice for the last 1 hour. Thank you for that comment. Thank you, DigiQuip. Hopefully that's been helpful. Thank you for joining us. Well, hey, look, I can put that as a ticker on the bottom as well. I'm just playing around with some things here whilst I see if anything else comes through. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast now. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your participation in the comments, and keep an eye out. We will do more of these, but on also on more specific topics. And if you ever have any questions, just reach out to us on our website, and we'll be happy to help. Have a nice day, everyone, and have a great weekend.